Good day, good evening to you all. This is a presentation which covers FIPPs, the Fair Information Practice Principle. The objectives are to define what is FIPPs, the comparison of FIPPs and other laws, and how can FIPPs be utilized within a federal agency to protect personally identifiable information. So, what is FIPPs? It is a collection of accepted principles that many organizations utilize to evaluate programs, processes, information systems, and activities that are directly tied to individual privacy. FIPPs aren't required, but they are suggested policies that an organization may adopt to secure users of personal identifiable information. I'll discuss each within the Fair Information Practice Principles for more clarity. Transparency. All information and policies and the practices that an organization has documented should be an open book. This can pertain to personal, identifiable information on how an organization provides access to creation, collection, processing, storage, maintenance, and dissemination and disclosure of personal identifiable information. Individual participation. All individuals will be informed about the collection, use, process, storage, maintenance, dissemination, and disclosure of personally identifiable information. Also, agencies will provide documentation and procedures that provide and address complaints and inquiries. For example, individuals is included in the process of personal identifiable information collection to address complaints and inquiries. Purpose and specification. Provide a clear purpose of collecting a personal identifiable information and how the data has been collected, maintained, stored, and processed, and disseminated. For example, the reason why we're collecting your first and last name is to provide that the client with superior support. Data minimization. This pertains to all personally identifiable information collected that must be relevant and necessary to accomplish for a legal purpose. For example, XYZ will collect information that is only needed and nothing more so that we can ensure that we have the correct records. Use of limitation. This provides disclosure of personally identifiable information for a purpose that provides a sole reason along with a notice for the purpose of collecting personally identifiable information. For example, XYZ is collecting first and last name, address, and phone numbers that is only going to be utilized by the organization to verify clients' information when they call the customer service line on our XYZ products. Data quality and integrity. This pertains to the quality of the data received and recorded to ensure integrity of the data has been met. This allows all individuals a reasonable feeling that all data collected is done to ensure fairness. For example, XYZ creates a standard operating procedure on collecting, storing, maintaining, and disclosing of personal identifiable information and provides a process to ensure all personally identifiable information is quantified and correct. Security. Safeguards are meant to keep all personal identifiable information protected to mitigate any risk towards data being modified, lost, destroyed, or disseminated or disclosed. This example could mean that all personal identifiable information collected is secured by means of physical nature, for instance, locked office, or digitally encrypted to secure all information collected doesn't get within the wrong hands. Accountability. Agencies will take ownership and responsibility with privacy requirements, audits, and document compliance. Agencies will define roles, responsibilities, and documentation for all contractors and employees who have access to PII. For example, XYZ can designate a person who has authority or responsibility of collecting, storing, and etc. of all personally identifiable information. This could also mean who has access to the information, like John from accounting or Bill from shipping. So the last one we're going to discuss is auditing. Data will have necessary access to personally identifiable information for the purpose to ensure all personally identifiable information is correct or amended to ensure integrity of the data is correct. Auditing of a personally identifiable information should be accessible to individuals so that they can correct or amend their information. And that concludes the definition of FIPPs. Explain how FIPPs compare to other privacy policy laws and regulations. FIPPs is the foundation that many agencies have adopted within their own policies, such as the Fair Credit Reporting Act and the Department of Homeland Security, and other policies like the Privacy Act of 2020, the NIST 8062 Privacy Risk Management, and the California Consumer Privacy Act. For example, the CCPA Section 1798.140 covers limitations on how businesses can use consumer information, which mirrors the FIPPs guidelines on limitations. Other examples are like how the Department of Homeland Security provides security safeguards for collecting, storing information, and this attributes to the policy towards FIPPs. How can FIPPs be utilized within the federal agency to protect PII? It can provide a foundation which non-state, state, and federal organizations the basic guidelines are outlined to protect personal identifiable information and the fundamentals and practices to adhere such data. For example, the information technology specialists had to create an SOP to protect personal identifiable information due to the lack of protecting soldiers' information. They implemented the FIPPs within their SOP to provide the who, what, how, why, and where questions when in regards to the protection of personal identifiable information and how it was collected. This also provides a great audit process to verify that all steps have been created and tested to ensure compliance has been met. These are my references, and if you have any other questions, concerns, please email them to me, and thank you. This concludes my presentation.